Got it. All right. All right. Hey guys. So I'm super excited to introduce you guys. You guys have heard me talk about him. If you've been in my courses, if you've been in my programs, Bill Walsh. And so I first think the first question to kind of ask you, Bill, for people who don't know you or they hear about you, you're a big guy in the speaker world. You're a big guy in marketing, a big guy in financing. You're always traveling to all these places. You have the best food. You're around people who are really making differences. You've been ranked a top business coach, small business coach in America for quite a few years. What got you started on this path? Because a lot of these listeners are corporate men or women who are in a very like masculine paradigm. And I don't mean men, I mean like masculine paradigm of doing, trying to get out of the hamster wheel. And I feel like you're really good at breaking that simulation habit. So like, how did you get into this and where do we start?
So first of all, keep up the great work. Thanks for having me on your show. For me, out of high school and college, I became a trader. I traded currency in New York and Chicago. And I got to a point where I knew there had to be more. I wound up getting married, having kids, and got really focused on the turnaround space. I was really good. If somebody had an idea, I could bring in the money, the marketing, the teams, the systems, and I could execute. I could see things in people they couldn't see in themselves. So for 10 years, all I did was turnarounds, take companies public, close them or fix them. And after 10 years of that, I just took a vacation. I said, there's got to be more. And I'm sure if you're in corporate America today, you're probably thinking the same thing. You're grinding, you're making great money, but at the end of the day, there had to be more. And so I just took a 2-week vacation, became 2 years. And I wasn't like super wealthy, but I was wealthy enough I never had to work again. And I knew for a fact that if I was to do something, it had to really be something that I was inspired to do. I could really make a difference and I would probably do it for free. And I teamed up as a marketing partner with a young company back then called GoDaddy on their domain side, another company called Franklin Covey. And if you heard of Stephen Covey, wrote the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We use their Plan Plus online system for vision-based living and building your business. We put together in a business in a box idea called Successfolio. Gave you a business plan, a merchant account, and in 20 months, we were in 20 countries selling that crazy little product. And it wasn't the marketing dollars, it was all about the relationships. Then we launched an incubator course in 2005 called Rainmaker, which is our most intense 4-day program for 4 people plus yourself that really helps you with vision, mission, path, purpose, sales funnels, marketing funnels, write your book, your public speaking. Then we launched the mastermind where we decided to help people get together with groups and 2008 in the venture fund, and then speaker programs and inspiration conferences. I put $1 million in this idea called the Small Business Expo as their main sponsor. We went from 4 cities to 17 cities, over 100,000 people were coming out for those events. Got heavily involved with actually investing and helping businesses grow that came through our courses. And now we're doing metaverse cafes. You know, for the first time ever, we're opening up in shopping malls. You can go to the mall and sit down in a cafe, have an espresso, and have someone in the metaverse universe sit with you and help you with your business. And it provides a channel for coaches. It provides a channel for business owners. They don't have to go find some coach somewhere in some far off land. They can literally just sit down, have an espresso, ask their questions, and get answers real time from the best coaches in the world. So we really always been innovating, you know, and I love the idea of watching people knock it out of the park, because a lot of people have great ideas, don't put them to use. Yeah. A lot of people have great teams, don't know how to lead and execute. So we put all that together and help these companies, and the ones we like, we invest in, we help them grow. You know, this year alone, we'll have 80,000 people out to our live events that we sponsor or run. And I've never been more excited now than to see the global landscape for the entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I think one thing I want to hone in on with this, and it's a really important question, is that I've seen you transition so much and grow even at your stage in career, which has been amazing just to observe you, but the power in relationships, because I feel like people in the corporate world, yes, you hear about networking and relationship, right, but you don't really get it, because as an entrepreneur, that is like what makes you or breaks you. But in the corporate world, you can kind of leverage on different things. So I'd love for you to say, with all of the people you come across, all the people you're part of your team, how do you really cultivate relationships that you know are going to let you grow and your business grow or your idea grow?
So I think for me, it was really, first of all, I had to have a better conversation with myself.
Mm.
You know, when I was younger, it was always, here's what I want, and here's what I got, and here's what I want. And I probably was around 35 when I figured out to really build great relationships, it had to be, here's who I am and here's how I can serve.
Mm.
And when I changed my modus operandi to that, and I learned to create value first for others and expect nothing in return. I'm not talking about going out and help your broke friends, they're negative. I'm talking about going to help really successful people become even more successful. And the idea was that I could do that through relationships, through connections, through stages that we were running. And before you know it, I started to have the best Rolodex ever because I never asked them for anything. I just helped them expand their brand through relationships, connections that I knew. And before you know, when I did that, they began to tell everyone how I helped them. And because of that, we went within 5 years of starting the business to an unknown company in the seminar world to be in the top 10 of the world.
Yeah.
And most of that was because of investing in those relationships. I tried to always put myself in the right place where the right people were at. And I know that's a challenge for a lot of people, but you've got to get way outside your comfort zone and you got to show up for other people's success.
I totally agree with that. And I think it's something I felt really blessed when I was in, undergrad. There was Dr. Betts, and he always taught me, like, drill into my brain at like age 17, like, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think that's why I've seen so much success in my 4 years of being in the online world or my entrepreneur journeys, because I've just always went for it and I've been so consistent. But what I think would be really great is someone who's listening to this right now. Like, I know they might come and be like, okay, I'm in front of a Bill Walsh, I'm in front of a Colleen, I've seen them online or I've heard about them, but I'd like for you to like break out, like, what would make, if it was me, like me coming up to you, I guess, you know me, like if me coming up to you, what would make someone listening stand out to you where you'd be like, wow, this is definitely someone I need to get involved in what I'm doing? Because I think that would be so beneficial for them.
So we call it the icebreaker conversation. And so often what happens is that we're programmed to talk about ourselves. Mm. So the minute you shift the entire conversation, if I met, let's say it's Richard Branson or the governor of California or Michael Jordan, whoever it is that I've met and walked into, right? It's always number one, pay a genuine compliment. Mm. You know, MJ, man, I loved all your years playing at the Bulls, right? Mm. Those were iconic years. Thanks for all the great memories. And then the next question is not, hey, and I want to help you with this. I'm going to help with your finance. I've got to help you with your marketing. No. What projects are you currently focused on that you're most excited about? Mm. In other words, let people talk about what they're doing, because I don't care how successful they are. If they're passionate about something, they want to talk about it. So while they're talking, this is where the difference is called LLP. It's called listen, learn, and process. And if you get this one little thing down, you can connect with anyone, anytime, anywhere. And I would just listen to what they're working on. And while that 30 seconds or that 1 minute was going on, I was actually learning about what they're doing. And I was figuring out, is there a way that I could help them with that? Could I make a connection? Could I open a door? Could I be someone that could just be a conduit to maybe even serve with the next charity? Can I donate to your charity? Can I buy a table? Can I help you sell some tables, right? And when you're going to offer something of value, don't say, but you got to pay me for my flights, or but you've got to do this, right? I didn't know Mark Victor Hansen, but I knew if Mark Victor Hansen, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, got behind our products and services, our sales would skyrocket. So when I had the chance to host a book launch party for him in Chicago, him and his partner, we packed the house with 3 days notice. I called my friends. I said, you're going to have two of the best-selling authors of all time here with us for an afternoon. The tables are $1,000 a table. Do you want a table? Yes or no? We sold 27 tables in 44 minutes. When they walked in, there was almost 300 people in the room. Within 3 days, we brought every book that they bought. We bought all their books. They sold more books in the luncheon than they sold at all their media stops in Chicago combined. When Mark walked in, he said, I don't know who you are. He says, but I can tell you this, you and I, we're going to do a lot of business together. We've been great friends for almost 15 years because of that, right? So it's getting way outside your comfort zone. And then whatever you offer to do, deliver it. It could be the smallest little thing. Hey, Colleen, when you guys are in LA, I'll make sure that I'll get you on John's radio show, or I'll get you in front of an audience, or I'll do something for you. But don't do it with a caveat with, hey, what can I get? Just add the value. And then, of course, the last thing, and this is super important, is that if you do offer to provide value, what's the best way to connect with you directly? If the value is high enough, they're going to open the door for the connection, and they're probably going to ask you what you do. And this is where you don't go into a sales pitch. Just give them one sentence on what you do for your customers. We empower entrepreneurs all over the world to create even more success. That's it. How do you do that? Consistently. Because the minute you start going to sales pitch, successful people get sales pitches every day. They don't want to hear that. But the minute you simply add value and ask for nothing in return, when Mark sold all those books, I didn't say, well, we've got to get 50% of the book sales, or we got to cover all these lunches, right? None of that stuff. Keep everything. But he's told that story now 100 times to other people, and all of a sudden the same other people said, well, if you could help Mark, you could probably help me. And that's the thing I would ask you to do, is that get off your ego train, right? Check it and realize that if you'll simply help others create more success, Zig Ziglar said it, it's been around forever. Help others get what they want, you'll get what you want. But I would challenge you to do it with the most successful people in your phone. Get into the most successful folks in your Rolodex. Get into the most successful people that are in your niche that may be well known today, but the more you help them, the more you're in the same realm. So put yourself in those circles on a regular basis, learn to add the value. I mean, go online tonight, look up the video, Bill Walsh and Michael Jordan on YouTube. I didn't know Michael before the video. I asked him to do the ice bucket challenge. He said no, but the opportunity came available to create some value for him. 30 minutes later, come on, Bill, let's do your video. Next thing you know, he's giving my kids tips on playing basketball, because I believe everyone is approachable once you learn the right process to open the door. And I just gave it to you.
No, I totally, you are so brilliant at this. I feel like you're someone, I always say this, you definitely are one of the best people of saying something, then actually implementing it real time while you're saying it. So people actually show it by example. Yeah. But I totally agree with you, because I definitely think when I started the online journey, I got around the people that were in my niche, for sure paid them, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000. I definitely got in that and really understood that work, because it was the body of work I wanted to understand. And the same I even do in my academia, I do it the same way, and I do it now in different ways. I'm always still doing it, but it's not so full force, need to happen yesterday. Yeah. But I love what you're sharing, because I definitely, a key principle in what I teach is connection. And you are giving a very systematic way of how to have a heart connection, because in the corporate world, a lot of people who you guys are listening to this, it's too manufactured. You can't just go what do you do? What do you do? There's no, that's right. No soul. It doesn't work. There's no remembrance. There's no reason to remember. So I just love that. And I think it's really important. And I guess the other thing I think would be really great for you to maybe talk about or share is neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I'd love for you to share in your journey, how important learning that skill set has been, and still to this day, how important it is, neurologically, linguistically, programming, communicating, speaking to an audience. And this is obviously a practice and an art, something you learn overnight, but I'd love for you just to shed some light on it, because I do believe you're one of the best probably in the country.
Well, I can tell you this, I've never actually taken any NLP courses.
Really?
So let's start with that. But I'm a big believer that the quality of your communication will dictate the quality of your life, your bank account, and all your relationships. So really understanding that you have the power to speak into somebody's listening, but the words that you choose are everything. Yeah. So for example, don't tell someone you're going to make them successful, because what their mind is hearing is that their mind hears that that person does not believe you think they're successful, and automatically they shut down. So NLP would be, and just a way to use very quality language, is that when you work with our team, we can we'll help you become even more successful. Now their mind hears something that says, wow, they think I'm already successful. Yep. And so understand that the quality of your language and everything that you do, because you'll hear it everywhere. I'm going to try, I'll get around to it. That means you're never going to do it. People can talk about their vacation. I can tell you everything that's happened in their life, because T. Harv Eker wrote a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. How you do anything is how you'll do everything. So if you become a really good listener and you begin to understand that NLP is nothing more than using super high quality language to move someone down a path that gives them a much better response than don't talk at people, talk with people. Begin to speak into the outcome that's going to be a positive outcome. Because if you only focus on moving away from negatives, you'll always wind up right back where you started. I'll give you an example of reverse NLP. It's called a weight loss center. See, a weight loss center means you're going to lose weight and you're going to have to go back to get more help because the weight will come back on. If they were called Eat Super Healthy centers and you learn to eat super healthy, the weight would fly off of you. So understand that NLP can be used for really good things and really bad things. You know, Hitler was one of the greatest in the world at NLP. He literally programmed people into believing that they were superior, that everyone else is horrible. And believe it or not, when you hear it enough times over and over and over, it starts a program. So I try to avoid when I watch people speak that are using NLP, where it's being designed to confuse the mind or to create open loops or conversations within their head. But I do love NLP, in other words, really high quality language, when it moves them to a positive outcome when they can work with your team. So NLP, without a doubt, is used every day. But the question is that I believe in authentic NLP, which really means that you speak from the heart and you truly know the outcome. Because if you can't serve somebody, then just say no. If you don't feel that your product or service can help them just to make a sale, skip that sale. Yep. You'll feel better about yourself, and believe it or not, you'll attract 100 more customers with the one no that you gave out. You know, we have a platinum speaker course for those who want to speak and sell from stage. We charge $25,000 for a 5-day course. We build your product box, your video, your talk. We create your order forms, your banners, and we put you on 3 stages to go share your message. But I'll tell you this, 80% that apply for the course don't get in, because what they're going to offer is not going to convert from stage. This is not designed to become just a better speaker. This is designed to teach you how to give a 60-minute authentic talk that converts on your product or service. Number one, if you're not an expert for 3 years or more in your space, don't apply for the course because you're not ready for the course. So believe me when I tell you that if you can leverage authentic NLP in your conversations, you'll be 100 times more powerful. And you'll begin to see that the best communicators in the world, they seem to make the most money.
I agree. And I think the one thing you said that was really powerful that I really agree with is that the quality of your communication. And that's like really important, because I think people say like the quality of your relationships, but if you don't know how to communicate, or if you're having thoughts inside of you, or like you're like, so many people have things happening in here and they don't communicate it or practice communicating. Like you didn't become this way. And I definitely did not become this way just because I was like born this way. Like, you know, there was a lot of time, a lot of education, a lot of making ourselves uncomfortable, putting ourselves in situations of like, oh my God. And there was rejection and there was, this didn't work. There was ways when it didn't sound like the way we're having a conversation. It probably sounded awkward, but you have to just start somewhere. And from that, I really believe, like you said, that's the authentic part. That's what builds deep, meaningful connections. And I feel like even for me, I met a lot of people when I was first starting my business that were much more further advanced. And I was in some circles of people, but they knew I was authentic. And that always led to me like receiving from that relationship, not maybe at that point, but like down the road and still down the road. So I think it's so important what you said.
And the thing is too, there's great stuff you can listen to. If you get a chance, go online tonight. There's a guy named Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. He was Tony Robbins' first employer. His language is unbelievably powerful and very positive. There's great music you can listen to. There's a reggae band in LA called Revolution, right? Listen to their music, listen to the words of their music, because there are certain musical tones and frequencies that are super empowering, and there's some that are not. So be careful what you feed into your mind. Most news agencies are programs. They're called a TV program. It's designed to program you. And a good test, put on any negative news network, right? That's an opinion-based news. Go to sleep at night and turn the news on loud. You'll wake up with a headache, I promise you.
Yeah, that's
because you're feeding really negative information into your mind. And don't allow negative, broke, energy-sucking vampires to get any of your time. Because if you do, it's the same thing. They're feeding that negative frequency into your mind. And frequencies are all around. People say, well, I can't see it, so it's not there. I promise you, it's there. It's in the air every day. And if you're putting yourself in the realm of that, it's only a matter of time before you pollute your mind.
I agree. And I think it's so powerful because I definitely agree with you. And because you brought up Hitler, I'll say too, for those of you who don't know, like he actually changed the radio station to 440 hertz, which is like the hertz of like control and activating your nervous system.
That's right.
And it never changed back to 432 hertz. So what Bill is saying is so right. And you guys, if you've listened to the podcast, you know that a lot. So anything else, Bill, you want to say? Because I know you're a very busy man. I want to make sure.
All I can say is, all I can say is if people get a chance to work with you, you're an authentic rock star, that you live what you teach. And I believe you don't know something until you live it. So if you get a chance to work with Colleen and the things she's working on and the people she's helped, just stay plugged in. And don't worry if everything doesn't happen overnight. I'm going to tell you that I have failed so many times. I've been broke and wealthy. Broke sucks, but you'll always find your real friends. And if it's not happening as fast for you as it is for something else, that's okay. Realize that just a couple of years ago, Elon Musk couldn't pay his rent.
Yep.
Today, he's the wealthiest guy in the world, right? If you go back to the Rockefeller, right? John D. Rockefeller, believe it or not, within 5 years from age 26 to 31, became the wealthiest guy in the world. So if it doesn't happen overnight, it's okay. Success is without a doubt, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And at the end of the day, a friend told me this, and I'll leave with this tonight. And if you want, I'll give away a copy of my book, but if not, that's cool too. One thing he said, which was so powerful, he said, the secret to true success, this is a billionaire speaking, right? The secret to true success is to have time, health, and money. So think about this: time, health, and money. When we're young, a lot of times that we have time, we have health, we have no money, and we're working like crazy. Later in life, we might have some money, but now we're not having the health of the time, right? Or if we do have the time, we don't have the health anymore. And so his secret to success was to balance those three accordingly during your life and figure out which times in your life can you put all three together. When can you actually have time, health, and money all at the same time? And he said that's where the edge of super quality in your life begins. And I think he's right. So begin to look at your lives today and put those three categories up and see how they all interconnect. And if you get a chance, I wrote a best-selling book called The Obvious. You can get a copy. Just text the word WIN to 26786. You'll get a free copy of the book. And I'll just once again say, Colleen, thanks for all the work that you do. Keep all the incredible work you do. I know you're working on academics and your business, and I've watched some of your posts that you're signing and enrolling some of the best clients ever. And the reason you're getting those best clients is because you know for a fact in your heart, in your mind, and your soul that you can help them, and they're getting results. And when you're doing that from a place of purpose, passion, and power, you become unstoppable. So love you. Keep up the great work. Anything I can do to help you, I'm never more than a text or a phone call away.
Yes. Thank you, Bill. And I want to make sure to you guys, definitely text him. So we'll leave that in the show notes as well. I'll have you message me that. So we have it, text him to get that book, The Obvious, because you're going to want what it is. If you ever see Bill, follow him on Facebook. If he's in a city near you, you're going to want to go to one of his luncheons or his learnings.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I love